Hi, this is Jessica DeMassa in the GuideWell Insights Lounge here at Exponential Medicine 2017. Right now I'm joined in the lounge by Shannon Jaccard. She is the CEO and founder of Ballast Health, which we'll get to in a second, but I do want to just jump right in to this interview. So you were in our session about mental health here, and mental health has just been, it seems like, becoming such a broader part of the conversation now in healthcare. It seems like everybody's talking about mental health and there's a lot more attention on it, which is fantastic. And so I just want to start out with your story and your experience. I understand that you're a sibling of someone who had a mental health issue and who actually passed away from it. So talk to me about that. What was your experience?
So when my brother was 19, we kind of noticed some little odd-ish behaviors out around him, but as a family, we didn't know what was going on. And in fact, we did what most typical families do, is assume it was drug and alcohol and not really address mental health, because we are so uneducated as individuals around what mental illness is, how to treat it, where to go to. It's so stigmatized that we're very uneducated as well. So he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, which put us kind of on the path of different treatment options for him, but it's very limited out there. And he ended up in a hospital in his last few months of his life, where he was trying to find a place to be after the hospital, but there was nothing available to him. And in fact, my mom was visiting him because it was her birthday, and he wanted to go on a cigarette break, which now is something that most hospitals have really gotten rid of, is all these cigarette breaks that are out there, because it provided tension between the patient and the providers. But at the time, they still had it, and it was 2 minutes before the break. And instead of having him go out on the cigarette break early, they gave him an Ativan and another Ativan on top of all the other medicines that he had had. They told my mother to leave. And then they said to my mom, well, we're going to care for him. And what they did is they put him into a 5-point prone restraint in a 4-walled grade room. And within several minutes, my 25-year-old brother died of a heart attack. So that was
Unbelievable. And how old were you?
So he was 25 when he passed away, and I was 29.
You're 29.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And so this is your baby brother?
Yes, my little brother.
One and only little brother.
My only sibling.
Okay, and so, I mean, this is just, it's a heartbreaking story. I also have a baby brother, and I could not even imagine this right now. But so what did this inspire you to do, Shannon? Tell me about Ballast Health. Tell me about where you're at right now.
Yeah. So when my brother was first diagnosed with a mental illness at the age of 19, I was on the path to go into more of the business side of the world. And he lost all of his friends due to the stigma of schizophrenia alone. In fact, what he would do is he would go up to people and say, hi, I'm Jeff, I have schizophrenia. And I would say, why are you telling people this? They don't need to know, it's none of their business. And he said, I'm telling them because I want them to leave me before I start to care about them. So he had lost all of his friends, he wanted new friends. So I started a program that provided this peer-based kind of friendship. And so from there, over my career, I've created more peer-based services. So individuals with a mental illness are employed, family members of individuals with the mental illness are employed to utilize their experience in helping other people with the mental illness. And so I've kind of created that to Ballast Health, which is more broader technology versus what I had, which was more narrow.
Okay.
So I wanted to take it.
So how are you using technology to scale this up then? This idea of peer networks, how are you doing that?
So we have so many individuals that are willing and wanting to support another person. And in fact, the number one form of recovery and stability is having work. So if you think about it, our folks who have a mental illness, our family members of somebody with a mental illness, are actually in their own form of stability and recovery by supporting another person.
Okay.
So the coaching or the technology is really just the platform to support this network together. And it's one-to-one coaching. So if you get Tom will be with you for however long you want to be with us.
Okay.
But there will also be a rollover. So say Tom is no longer available, that then you can roll over to Sally or Sue or whoever is.
And now is Tom or Sally or Sue, are they working with the actual patient or are they working with the patient's family?
Both.
Okay. So it really is like it's creating its own little peer network among that unit.
Yes.
And I know right before we had gone on the air, you had said that one of the things that you're really passionate about is providing support for the siblings of people who have mental illness. And talk a little bit about that. Why is that so important to have?
So 80% of U.S. households have more than one child in their families. And 1 in 4 families are caregiving for somebody with a mental illness, which means there's a lot of us siblings out there, and we're feeling very alone, isolated. A lot of us have some anger, some grief. I know that on my 21st birthday, I wasn't allowed to come home because my brother's behaviors were a little bit erratic. So you become angry at your sibling.
Yeah.
So some siblings, what they have done is separated themselves from their family or their brother or sister who has the illness. And I have had too many sisters and brothers literally fall apart in my arms because it's been 20 years since they talked to their brother or sister. They have lost all those holidays. They have lost the aunt or uncle being together. They've just lost these opportunities, and now the person is gone.
Right.
And they can't take any of this back. So I'm really doing this call to siblings to support us in our collective stories as well. And in fact, if this is okay to say, but I'm writing a book on just the sibling experience.
That's incredible, great.
So that we can share our...
And now if somebody wants to get involved, last thought here, Shannon, from you, like if somebody wants to get involved in this, if they're like, yes, I am a sibling or I need to contribute to this, how can they participate in this side of your work?
So they just go to my name as a website, so Shannon Jaccard.
Okay, and spell Jaccard for us.
Jaccard is Jaccard.
So Shannon Jaccard.
ShannonJaccard.com. And you can contact me through there, and then we can set up a time to talk about your sibling experience.
Fantastic. Well, Shannon, thank you so much, and thank you so much for being so forthcoming with your story. I mean, it is so emotional, and it's so just inspiring to see you turn this into something that's so positive that can help so many other people in such a different way. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Jessica DeMassa in the GuideWell Insights Lounge at Expo 2017. Thank you for joining us.